Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some things that the Dallas Cowboys uh, need from the combine. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys would like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. So yeah, I know I'm making a Dallas Cowboy video, but if you guys see, Marshall Faulk, Mahomes, Julio Jones, just again, I love the NFL, and they had really good combine performances, and those are guys that went first round. So we're having them up in the background around draft time and things like that. So, but the number one thing that the Dallas Cowboys need this combine season in the combine schedule from Thursday, February 26th, all the way up until Sunday, March 1st is very important. You're gonna have a lot of workouts. With the first workout on Thursday will be for defensive linemen and linebackers. Friday the 27th will be DBs and tight ends. Saturday is going to be the major day. That's going to be quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. And Sunday, March 1st, will be offensive linemen. So what we need, most importantly, as Dallas Cowboy fans, we need to know and we need to see a lot of these offensive players have not only have really great workouts, but also we need really good character reports to come back on guys. Guys that need to have a good workout and really great character. Quarterback Ty Simpson out of Alabama needs to have a great workout. He needs to fool one of these teams, whether it is from pick 1 through 11 or picks 13 to 19. We need Ty Simpson to have a franchise really fall in love with him, preferably in the top 10, so that's why we can have a really good player fall down to us at 12. But really, we need as many offensive players as we can to fall to us at 12 as we possibly can defensively, right? But again, the reason why they need to have a great workout and great character, two blaring examples last year. I was right on one, I was wrong on another. I love Luther Burden coming out of Mizzou. The character concern coming out for him was being a diva, which that happens all the time. Now the level of divaness it can range, it can vary, but as long as he wasn't acting like Antonio Brown, which he wasn't, I didn't hear anything crazy coming out of Chicago this year. But they were trying to paint Luther Burden in a bad way. He went all the way down to the second round. He went in the top of the second round, but messed up his money because he could have went to the first round and things like that, right? The major concern of what's going on right now, and he's going to potentially, if he gets caught up in anything, is going to be at least 5 years that he's going to face in prison, and that is James Pierce Jr. I love this tape coming out of Tennessee, but because of the major character concerns that he had, a lot of teams took him off their board, and that team, the Atlanta Falcons, they loved him so much they gave up a first round pick in this year's draft to go back into the first round last year to go get him. So it's very important that these offensive players and all these players, damn it, the kicker, the long snapper, all of these guys have really great workouts and great character. I think that's what matters the most for people in general, but especially for these athletes that are going to make life-changing money for not only for themselves but for their families. So I think it's very important that these guys have great characters anyway, no matter what round they go. But we need these offensive players to go as high as they possibly can to push down some of the best defensive talent to us at 12 and 20. The second thing that we need to see, we need to start seeing medical history on guys like Akeem Messidor, edge out of Miami, and we also need to check out Jamal McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee. Akeem Messidor is a guy that can very well go in the top 15, top 20 if his medical history checks out. Yes, he is a bit of an older player. He is 25 years old, which by the time you get to 25, most times you're already in the fourth year or in the fifth year of your rookie contract if you go first round. But with Akeem Messidor, it'll be backwards. He'll be almost 30 by the time his first contract ends. I don't really have a concern with that. If you can play football, you can play football. That's how I view Akeem Messidor and things like that. But we need to check out the medical history. Right now, the concern is really his feet. How healthy can he really stay? And Jamal McCoy. Jamal McCoy could potentially be a candidate for you at 12. But most importantly, if he gets to you at 20, I think that's more of a steal than if you were to take him at 12. I'm falling to the camp of, I really like this tape coming out in 2024. He did not play at all in 2025. He tore his ACL in 2024. He could have played in 2025 if Tennessee had made the playoffs, but since they didn't, he didn't play. He elected not to play, not mess up his draft stock. but I want to see how well can he turn on that ACL that he tore. Does he still have really good speed? What is his 40 going to look like? Things like that. I'm paying attention to things like that when it comes to Jermon McCoy, because I feel that if he puts together a really good combine, I think that's a player that probably won't even get to you at 12, because I can see possibly the Giants taking him at 5, the Commanders taking him at 7. I can see a couple of different suitors looking for a guy like Jermon McCoy if he has a hell of a workout. But that's something that we need to look out for if you're the Dallas Cowboys. You also need to be checking out medical history on guys, right? And the third thing, there's a lot of us that are Caleb Down believers, and we want Caleb Downs to fall to us at 12 to have a Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb type of situation where you have a really good player fall to you that should not have gone this far at all in the draft. But the only way Caleb Downs falls to you is there's a couple of things that need to happen. The number one thing, he needs to have a terrible workout. I'm not advising him to have a terrible workout. I want him to, buy his mama's house and take care of everybody in his family, even though he already has a older brother that's a damn good slot wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts and Josh Downs. But, I want him to create generational wealth for himself and everything like that, so the Downs is the money. But, now for great players like that are solidified when it comes to financial security, is now just making a history and a legacy for yourself in the NFL. So I think that's very important for a guy like Caleb Downs. He needs to have a really good workout, but if he wants to get to 12, he needs to have a terrible workout. He needs to run like a 4.740. We're also going to need draft fatigue. That happened last year with Will Johnson. I love Will Johnson. I had him in the first round last year coming out of Michigan. There was a lot of concerns about him wanting to tackle and things like that, but he went to Arizona, small market city. He went out here and he just balled out and had a hell of a good rookie campaign. I wanted Dallas to draft him in the first round, but Dallas did what they did, had to put together a really solid draft. But again, I still wanted the Dallas Cowboys to get a guy like Will Johnson, and a guy that was, if he would have came out in 2023, which is I believe was his sophomore year, the year they won the national championship, he would have been a first round player undoubtedly. Probably would have gone top 5, top 10. But with draft fatigue and things like that, it caused for him to fall all the way out of the first round, and he went to the middle of the second round because of draft fatigue. I need that to happen with Caleb Downs. I need everyone to start to pick holes in his game and things like that. So if they can do that, poke as many holes as they can all the way to 12, and we'll gladly take them. And you pair a really good free agency and you trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Imagine having Minkah and Caleb Downs as your two safeties. That would be freaking crazy for the Dallas Cowboys if they can get something like that, right? And then the third thing that needs to happen also for Caleb Downs to fall is you need scouts and talent evaluators to view him as only a safety, because you will make the mistake as a team just to view him as a safety. He is everything that you need. He can play linebacker if you need him to. Don't want him to, but he can. He can play middle, deep third. He can play on the roof. Shout out to Foots, that's his term. He can play in the nickel. He can blitz. He can do all type of things. And then not only that, great character. And that's what mainly is important, because he was a leader for Nick Saban in Alabama, and also he was a leader in Ohio State and understood a really complex scheme for Matt Patricia and was able to understand that. I think this is a can't miss prospect. If he does not get hurt and he goes to the right situation, Caleb Downs is going to be the best player out of this draft, and he might be the best player on my board. But I love Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs should go. I would love for him in Dallas, but if we're taking the Dallas Cowboy lenses off from being analytical, I believe he should go top 5 easily. The last thing that we need the Dallas Cowboys, and then the last thing that needs to happen with Caleb Downs is shout out to Botch as well. Teams get suck at drafting for Downs to fall to us at 12. The last thing, the things that we need to hear positively from Dallas in this combine, during this combine week, is we need to hear and we need to see that the Dallas Cowboys are making progress to get deals done with pending free agents like George Pickens, Brandon Aubrey, and Jadeveon Clowney, and then being real players in free agency and also through trade. So I would love a George Pickens deal to get done. I would love a Brandon Aubrey deal to get done. If we can't get Jadeveon Clowney because he's a mercenary for hire and he's just going to go to the highest bidder, then I'm fine with losing him. I'm not going to lose sleep. But the Dallas Cowboys need to find maybe a Leonard Floyd or a Khalil Mack, or well, we'll talk about other free agent possibilities next week when I start, putting together a video, trying to put together a free agency wish list. But if we can get George Pickens done before the draft, that would be tremendous. Same thing with Brandon Aubrey. If we can get Brandon Aubrey's deal done, I would love for him to get his deal done. If we can get him to like a 10-year deal, I wouldn't mind that at all. That's one of those type of positions where you give them 7, you give them anywhere from 5 to 8-year deals, because kicker is similar to quarterback in a way. If you have a kicker and he doesn't have any mental blockages and he's very confident, this is a kicker that we're going to have for the next 10 to 15 years. But this is also one of those contracts where, yeah, you can pay a kicker top of the line kicker money. That's probably about like upwards of like 10 to 15 million, if that. And you can pay Brandon Aubrey and it's not going to hurt you at all against the cap. If he doesn't pan out, you can just cut him. But we need to get that George Pickens deal done, because if we can get him done and have everyone at full strength going into training camp, so that's where this offense can pick up where it left off. Because all we need is one more player signed, re-signed back on the offense side, and now you'll have everybody that led the #1 offense last year back on your team this year, and we won't really have to worry about that side of the ball. Now, you re-sign George Pickens. I'm not solely neglecting the offense, because if you take care of your business in free agency, if I can add a vet wide receiver like a Tyler Lockett, a Mike Evans, or a Deebo Samuel to play slot for you, I wouldn't trip. If the Dallas Cowboys want to go spend a little money, go get maybe a Breece Hall to be your 1-2 punch with Javonte Williams if you can't get Jeremiah Love at 12, I would love something like that. I would love to add to this offense. If we can get Kyle Pitts to be our tight end too, behind Jake Ferguson or in front of Jake Ferguson, I wouldn't trip either. But I can't responsibly talk about offense again if the Dallas Cowboys don't do their part in free agency through trades and put together a really good draft. So we need to hear some really good glowing reports about that. And I need the Dallas Cowboys to be in every single defensive player that's either disgruntled or available in free agency. I need the Dallas Cowboys to be players and be true players. Don't put your name in a hat and then we come to find out the Dallas Cowboys didn't even put an offer out there. I need the Dallas Cowboys to get aggressive, and I need the Dallas Cowboys to fix this defense. Are you going to be able to fix all your problems in one offseason? No. But I think if you lay the foundational groundwork, which I believe you already did with the coaching staff, if you put together some really good players to help out your up-and-coming coordinators on the defense side of the football, I think you're going to be fine. This defense needs a Javonte Williams type impact player on their team that you can get for cheap. But they also need you to spend resources on them as well, like you did last year on the offense. Brian Schottenheimer got George Pickens, Javonte Williams, and Tyler Booker all in one offseason. I need that to happen for a guy like Christian Parker. I need him to get his pass rusher, his linebacker, and his safeties that he's looking for him to really turn around this defense. So the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of work to do. They know that. Ultimately, we know that, and that's all that matters. So that's about it for the video. Hopefully you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed.